You ever look at a fast food menu and think, how is this meal so cheap? Like, how does this even work? A whole meal for less than a cup of coffee seems like a steal. But here's the real question: who's actually paying for it? Because I promise you, someone is. The hidden cost of cheap food on your health, your wallet, and the world around you. The food industry's best kept secrets. A real reason healthy food seems so inexpensive or so expensive. Stick with me, and by the end of this show, you'll never look at your grocery cart the same way again.
We've handed over our food security to someone else, and they're here to help you take it back. It's the Farm2Table Direct Show with Ryan and Keith.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's show where we are going to be talking about the cost of cheap food. What are you really paying for it? So glad you joined us tonight. We look forward to seeing your comments in the chat. Tonight, we're serving it up hot. So let's pull up a chair and let's dig in. It's time for the Farm2Table Direct Show. Evening, bro. How's it going, man?
Man, it's going good. I've had an awfully busy day, but I'm looking forward to this show tonight because we're going to be talking about cheap food.
What is such thing? What is cheap food?
You know, what is the cost of cheap food, really? So yeah. Hey, you know what? We got something to say.
We
to
do.
Everybody out there today.
That's right, man. I'm telling you, you better be glad you tuned in. I know I've been teasing it. Tonight is the giveaway of the tickets for the Oklahoma. Nope, wrong one. Okie Homestead Expo. Man,
Yeah.
It's the kind of day today, I tell you. Good evening, everybody. Glad to see you all in the chat. So good to see everybody here. But yes, tonight at the end of the show, drawing for two. I don't know. I'm all divided up on the screen. 2 tickets to the Okie Homestead Expo. So you're going to want to get in, and I'm about to put the hot button word, pin it to the chat, and so when you put that in chat, that enters you for the 2 tickets. Now listen, if you've already got 2 tickets, or you're already going and you've already bought tickets, or you're volunteering or whatever, but you know somebody who might need them or might want them, or you want to invite somebody, don't be afraid to grab these tickets, okay? And if you're wanting to go, but you said, man, I just can't afford the tickets, we're taking care of that for you tonight. You get a chance to win them. So I'm about to type the word in. Bro, set this thing up, what we're doing as far as tonight's show. Kind of, I know we did in the teaser. Let's kick right in about what cheap food is really costing us and what it's costing everybody.
So have you ever noticed that when you feel tired and sluggish and just generally without energy? Well, I think that's kind of a common problem. However, what I can say about that is it could be caused by our food. In other words, if we're making bad choices in our food, we at this time in our life, we should be still healthy and vibrant. There's certainly people around the world who live a better quality life than the average American does. And there are some tribes that that I think it's down in South America that I was listening about the other day, and it was talking about how these tribes, even though they don't necessarily live longer than we do, but they can still climb trees at 80. You know what I mean? They just live a stronger, healthier life. And one of the things that they've got in common with that, or that the common denominator of that is that they don't have all the junk food that we do. They don't eat the junk food like we do. And so then if, another, little hot statistic that that I learned about was that the I'll think about it in a minute. I learned a hot statistic and I'm going to share it here in a minute, guys. Don't worry.
Hey, listen, it's been that kind of day, bro.
Yeah, it really has. But anyway, is that they used to call diabetes, for example, adult onset diabetes.
Right.
They no longer call it that. Why? Because you can get it in children now. It's not as uncommon that you can that you can get it as a child nowadays. And
Mm-hmm.
so it has to be something in our food
Right.
or our water or something like that. So we're going to be, breaking some of that down. And then toward the end of this, we're going to get into, some of the different reasons that we might think it's cheaper to eat, like that. Although when I go through a driveway, a drive through, I'll swear it doesn't feel cheap to me,
Makes you want to
you
drive
know.
away.
Yeah, right. But we're going to talk about some money saving tips here in just a little bit. But before we do that, um, let's move on through some of this show flow, guys. We're seriously behind tonight.
We are, and you have to forgive us. We have both just been insanely tied up today. We had this worked out, and honestly thought we weren't even going to be able to have a show tonight. We were so backed up, but here we are. Listen, your health is ultimate for the food that we eat. And you ask yourself, man, I'm always tired. I'm always sluggish. I'm always unhealthy. And you wonder why is that? You just can't get energy when you should have it. And I mean, so much of it comes to the food because you get a high and you get a low. You eat that food, it
Mhm.
gives you that little bitty burst of energy, and then boom, you crash. You know, me and Keith are always on the phone. It's like a certain time of the afternoon, man. It's like we're both just kind of dragging, and it's because of that very thing. We've ate, we had the boost of energy, and then all of a sudden it hits that lull, and the afternoon lulls or whatever, and it shouldn't be that way. If we think back to the way that farmers, people ate back in the day, they'd get up, they'd have that healthy breakfast. Now they might have got out and fed animals and did other stuff first, but they had that healthy breakfast, and then lunch might have just been a sandwich, and then they came home and they had dinner and dessert and all that stuff at home. So their eating cycle was even totally different than ours. Than what we do now. Experts will say, "Oh, eat small meals all through the day." Or don't eat past 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock at night, and all these different things. There's all these experts, and they might be right in some cases, but oftentimes how we eat and how we cycle through the day, it gives us that loss of energy. But it's all in what's the ingredients are, and ask yourself this question: have you ever eaten a full fast food meal? The burger, the fries, or the chicken sandwich and the potatoes, whatever you're having, and you've ate all that stuff, and an hour later you feel hungry again. Have we, I've
Well,
experienced it, and it's like, man, I know I just ate, you know, I know I just ate, but yet at the same time, I'm hungry. And I think it has to do
well,
with what's in that food, or lack
well.
there.
I just, for me, I can't tell if I'm really hungry or for kind of like a brain hunger. You know what I mean? It's just in my head
Right.
And
that
Yeah.
I'm hungry, and maybe it's just looking for some kind of an endorphin release or something, for wanting food only an hour or two after I've eaten. I'm thinking, man, I shouldn't even be hungry yet.
Right.
And yet there it is.
right. Well,
Yeah.
bro, have you ever thought about the fact that the reason that happens is because our food is engineered to be addictive?
You know, that sounds awfully devious to me. And I really I guess that they really do try to make it, I think that there's this like question out there. Well, did they make it to be addictive or did they just make it to where you really like the taste and that's what you craved? You know what I mean? And I don't even really know if I know the difference between the two.
Well, I'll give you for an example. Now, everybody and their brother knows, okay, that McDonald's burgers are unhealthy, but we
Yeah.
keep going back, you know, and I'll pull up one that's some people's favorites, the McRib, right? Right? See that look he just had on his face. It's the most disgusting looking thing. It doesn't look like a rib. It doesn't look like any rib I've ever seen. And I used to cook them when I worked for McDonald's. Okay, so I know what it looks like before it's cooked. It's even worse,
Right.
but it's got this taste. It just
This
tastes.
man right over here doesn't look like he's ever skipped a rib.
Uh, I'm not skipping an actual rib. McRib, I will gladly pass on every day of the week. So
I mean,
Is that
but
right? You,
when
you don't like them?
when they
no,
bring it back, there's a line around the building. I mean, yeah,
those are crazy people. So
right, maybe, but but why? You ask yourself why. Now David Lacey shared this. I'm going to bring this up.
yeah,
Massive amounts of refined sugars, processed
Mhm.
carbohydrates, and very low amounts of true protein, and that sums it up. I mean, that is the ultra processed food, right? And
Yeah.
they have shown. I mean, it's not even like this is a secret that there's a link between ultra processed foods and chronic diseases like diabetes, obesity, and heart disease. It's not even a secret, and we still eat it because it's convenient. Or is
Yeah.
there something in it that just draws us to it? Is it marketing? You know, Scotty agrees with you there, Mr.
yeah,
Yeah. And that
yeah.
rib is nasty.
No,
That's
Sky,
nasty.
Sky. Speaking the truth, here, that is the most disgusting sandwich I've ever eaten in my life. So
Absolutely. But I mean, think about
They
it.
keep bringing it back.
They keep bringing it back, and people keep lining up to go around the building to get the
I'm
thing.
telling you, it's crazy people. Okay,
Now, I will say, now the McRib sauce and McDonald's French fries, now you're cooking. But you know, but again, again, I'm one of those people.
yeah,
I know better. You know, and Joey agreed with Scotty's, and they're really nasty.
Yeah.
But I mean, so we have to ask ourselves, how can we do this? How do we wake ourselves up, and realize how much of our energy and our mood and our health is controlled by what we're eating? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, what is it going to take? I mean, I'm asking myself, what is it going to take to know this and put it into action to turn things around, start eating real food instead of junk, instead of ultra processed food? First thing, be getting my kitchen done so I could actually cook. But
Well, that helped.
yeah, hey, made big progress today. They're painted, so
All right. Good job, man.
hey,
anyway. But
So
I go ahead, bro.
So yeah, I just wanted to pause here for a minute and say that, this weekend, I work at a certain place. It's got a kitchen, and I can sit around and do a few things like making show flows and that sort of thing while I'm working. And I got up as a thought experiment, and I just went through the cabinets underneath, up in the top cabinets, the refrigerator and everything, and I looked at something looking for something that was actually healthy for me to eat. And the only thing I found was some smoked salmon. That's it. The only one thing. And I pulled everything out, and the list of ingredients on everything when I was reading those labels was insane.
You know, but that's what it takes. Just read a label.
yeah.
I mean, one label. Pick a label. Just read one. And we'll talk more about that. But I mean, it's later. But you know, if we really actually look, and we've said it before, time and again, if you can't pronounce it, it probably isn't good for you. It's man-made, it's lab-made, and everything. You know, but and I'm going to share this before I hit this next question. So I want
Yeah,
to.
I was about to share that too. So
This is Jack and Dina, Dina Dyer Family Farm. Glad to have you. Dina and I have eaten only home cooked meals for about the last 2 months. Saturday, we stopped and got a hamburger and fries and a soda pop on the way home, and it made us both sick. See,
Yeah, I mean, I've done that before and I've gotten regret. I mean, it's like, hey man, it tastes great when I was going through it till a certain point, but then it was just like an amazing amount of regret afterwards. Now, I mean, I love hamburger meat, and that's fine in my opinion. Hamburger meat, one ingredient meals like a steak, hamburger, those sort of things.
God,
I love that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you add it with the bread and everything else and the sauces and everything that's on it, and I mean, I heard some statistic the other day that a McDonald's hamburger bun had so many ingredients that you wouldn't even understand. It's not just the common like water and wheat and
no,
wheat flour and that sort of thing.
it's different
It's like got
flavor.
a massive amount of stuff in it.
Yeah. Well, listen,
Yeah.
David's going back to what you were talking about with your pantry up at the workplace. Even then, was it
Mhm.
100% wild caught, or is it farm raised with red food coloring to color the meat red?
Man, that's a good question, and I don't know. It it was one of those that I think you get out of Walmart. They bought it out of Walmart, and it's in a plastic. It's just a single one that's already been filleted, and it's in the plastic. And I don't know. I don't know if it was wild caught or not. But then I heard another statistic about even wild caught. One of the best things that you can do with fish, I love tuna. I like to eat raw tuna, in sashimi
We were
and
just
different
talking
things
about
like
the
that.
McRib being nasty, and he just
I had to go and
oh
make you sick.
yeah,
No, man, I do. I like it. I mean, I'm that guy. But anyway, but they were saying the larger the fish, the more the mercury.
huh?
So when you eat fish, eat the smaller fish. They still have mercury in it, but not as much. So I mean, you can read about everything, and that gets me into another little bugaboo that I have, and that is, who do you listen to these days?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's hard. So guys, what we're really saying, don't listen to us. Make up your own mind
Yeah.
about the food you put in your mouth
So I'd
on
say
your table.
because here, and that sets up the question.
Yeah,
What if the problem isn't you? What if the problem
right,
is what you're eating? You know,
right. And I think it is.
you know. I mean,
I mean, what are some of the chronic illnesses? Now, there's doctors out there who swear that chronic illnesses, if they haven't gone just way to the point that you're about to die or something, can be reversed,
with diet,
or you might not get them in the first place if you know how to select your food properly, and if you haven't just been on a junk food diet most of your life, like most of the people I know, they've eaten an awful lot of that stuff. You go to a party, what is it, the most famous meal in a party is hamburgers and hot dogs. Oh my goodness. And I'm right in there with it. Thank you. I guess that's Jack over there saying he loved me some sushi. Thank you
oh,
very much.
listen, I
Yeah,
like
me too.
sushi, but raw tuna doesn't.
Yeah.
But
What do you think?
no, well, but, I mean, it's been out on Facebook floating around. That like 50 years ago, 70 something percent, 70 something, whatever, foods didn't exist, but neither did all these other diseases and chronic illnesses. They didn't exist or were almost unheard of. Childhood diabetes was unheard of. Even adult onset was rare. You know, but
Right.
our food changed, the food pyramid, and what they said
Mhm.
we should be eating versus what we had been eating for hundreds of years, forever. And so I mean but bro, that's we get into that and people talk about, man, I want to eat healthy and I know to eat healthy, but I just can't afford it.
Yeah. And that's a big time. I mean, I think that there's probably about 3 major reasons that we don't eat healthy. Obviously, one is expense. People think, I can't afford to eat all of the great stuff. I can't afford to eat a steak every day because we know steak is good for us. I think it is. And then, hello, Chris Reeves. Welcome in.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is um, convenience.
Right.
Just like Rachel said over in chat, is that convenience is another reason that she is simple, it's easy.
Yeah.
Then the other thing is addiction.
Right.
Now, I don't know exactly how, if you're an addictive personality, that's always sounded weird to me. It just makes me feel like somebody's addicted to you because you have an addictive personality. But you know what I mean. If you're easily addicted to things,
Right.
then they say, that might be part of it. Um, but because some people, they just like, I can kick it, no big deal, and they roll on and they just do great with it. I hate you guys, by the way.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
uh,
bro,
but
go ahead. Finish your thought.
but yeah. So no, what I was going to say that so the convenience part of it, we can do something about it, right? And then like doing swaps and things like that. Just slowly start to move, over just a little bit at a time. into making better selections, that sort of thing.
Well, bro,
But
go
a
ahead.
lot of people get into the expense, and that's where I was headed with that.
Well, what if I told you, folks out there, what if I told you eating healthy is too expensive is one of the biggest food industry myths?
Liar.
Liar. Really?
Crazy.
You want to know something? That junk food is so cheap. You want to know
What's
why
the
that junk food is so cheap? Those boxes that are so cheap to buy food and all that stuff. Guess what? It's heavily subsidized. Heavy subsidized corn, soy, and sugar make processed food cheap. But it's our tax dollars that are making it cheaper, and it's bad for us.
man? Where have I heard this story before? It's like we're paying for our own demise.
Right? I mean, because this fast food meal versus simple home cooked meals, right? Long term cost and what you end up spending on health problems versus investing in good food. When we really look at this, I mean, I can go, I'll just, for example, okay, I go to a particular fast food place almost every morning for breakfast.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored, so I'm not going to say who it is, but all I'm going to say is my Frosty Chino is addictive. Okay. Anyway, but I go there. Well, dude, that's $9 and something cents. That's 5 days a week if I go every day. Well, that's $50, $45, $50 on that one meal for 5 days. You're telling me I can't buy eggs and sausage and make some stuff, have coffee at home for a whole lot less
Yeah.
money?
Yeah. Well, let me bring up something that Chris Reeves said right here. And I've noticed that. He was talking about with inflation, the cost gap has lessened.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've thought about that. I'm thinking, wow, man, there's no better time than right now to switch over. You won't notice that much difference, as far as, comparing the price of eggs to other prices of eggs, right? That sort of thing.
There was a little conversation going on over here in chat as well, and Scotty had asked, "How do we know what's in the vegetables, like the pesticides that some farm use?" Now, David was gracious enough to actually answer that for us. So that's very strict to keep it local. If it's local, then you have the face-to-face contact, and you can work with the local farmers and ask what they feed or use as pesticides on their fruits and vegetables. So, and my man, bring back bartering. There you go.
Make bartering great again. Yeah.
Speaking of hashtags, pinned up in the top of chat is our hashtag that you need to enter to be qualified for the tickets. All you got to do is put it in the chat. Let's see if I can go all the way up there and find it.
I put it on here.
Dakota is on it. I owe you $1. Anyway,
probably more, but we're not going into that right now.
He's overpaid.
Hashtag think outside the big box, shop local. That came up a week or two ago on the conversations in chat, and it just seemed like a good one. I know it's a big, nice, long one, but if y'all will put that in the chat, if you'll hashtag that in the chat, that'll enter you in for a chance to win two tickets to Okie Homestead Expo that we'll be drawing at the end of the show. So please, by all means, put it in the hashtag, put it in the comments, because otherwise, I don't know. We'll put it. We'll
wing it.
Maybe we'll put them on ticket, one of them ticket sites, and see if we can make some money. I don't know, but
I'll stand on a street corner and sell them. So.
I started to say we'll stand right out there and we'll be like scalpers or something. Hey, buddy, come here.
Do I got a deal for you?
No kidding. But anyway, back on topic. We look at those things, but if you take and swap stuff in, like I was saying, buying in bulk, frozen vegetables instead of fresh, choosing whole foods over packaged. Hey, welcome in, Tracy and Tim. Glad to have y'all up there. Oh, Dyer family's in it. All right.
All right.
But so anyway.
So far, Jack's the winner. Ain't nobody else put it in yet. You guys better get on it.
If you want tickets to Okie Homestead Expo, we're going to put that hashtag right there.
Right. Giving away two of them tonight, guys.
Keep that up there, Mr. P. Keep that up on the screen for now, so people know. And anyway, yep. put that hashtag right there in the chat box, and that will enter you for 2 tickets. And like I said, even if you're already going or you've already got tickets or you're working, volunteering, whatever, but you got somebody you want to invite, you got somebody you think would enjoy it, win them and give them to them. But anyway, back up, there's so many little things that we can do. And I'll ask everybody just a thought question. Have you ever done the math on what you spend eating out versus cooking at home? I mean, you know, honestly, I just broke down one meal that I go to every day. That's $50 a week. That's not counting if I get dinner for me and Cindy, or if there you go. That's it, Robbie, right there. That's the whole thing. So go ahead and put that hashtag in there. I seen you already did that there, Robbie. Yeah, that's the idea right there. If you're not going to use them, find somebody who will. Because we
Right.
want these to go to good use. We want more people there. So that's the thing.
Yeah, we were just informed by Oki that we're only allowed to have 4 tickets if you're a vendor, no exceptions. So we might have to hit you up for those, Robbie.
No kidding, because we got 5. We got 5.
We got 5 people going.
So yeah. Anyway. Anyway, all right. Thanks, Jack. Well, you're entered regardless.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that. Help us put the hashtag before I knew what I was. There you go. All right. Hey, Dakota, put that.
Moving on
for me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so when you think about that, I mean, there is that myth. It's not any. It's not any more expensive now. Like I said, between inflation and everything else, it's not. And that's why I said a couple weeks ago on the show, it's a perfect opportunity right now for the homestead community to meet out there with consumers, to be the guy supplying, whether it's eggs or whether it's whatever it is, milk. I mean, whatever the case is, it's the perfect opportunity right now because people are looking for healthy alternatives at a fair price. I don't want you to hurt yourself, a man's worth his wage, but it's a perfect opportunity, and that leads us into our next kind of topic, that someone is paying the price for this stuff. All right. I mean, I just talked about the subsidization of all these things, and so if we're not paying for cheap food, who is? I mean, that's who's, with these subsidies, and also, labor issues. Let's think about that. I had honestly not thought about this till we started working on this. Farm workers making making below, they said, below livable wages or dirt wage, because I mean, yeah. And I know in the world, those farm workers, they don't make great money. They really don't. But yet at the same token, they're out there working and they're making it happen, and we've heard all the arguments about immigrant workers and migrant workers and how so much of our system depends on that cheap labor. Well, doggone, that's what somebody who's paying for the fact that we have cheap food,
Right. Illegal immigration, anyone?
Yeah, that's what I said. Think about this. Both sides. And I told this to somebody the other day. Both sides, doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat, liberal, it doesn't matter. Neither side really wants to completely stop it because of those jobs, because of those jobs in the food industry and in construction and all those things. Anyway, I think yeah, it's okay. I think you can get away with the
We know what you mean.
We're not going to hold grammar to the standard tonight.
No, we are too. Look, if you messed up, you're out, dude.
I don't think we got that.
Just kidding, man.
Anyway, but I mean, because that happens, and the system depends on it, and so neither side really wants that to, like I said, those types of jobs, because they want those to remain low wage, so that it artificially keeps things tampered down. Because if they had to pay, I'm on to the Dyer family farm. They have now entered on 3 different sites. Rigging
Making it interesting. Hey, David,
get on your hunting, and you might want to.
Yeah. I see you guys.
We're gonna have some.
What you're
We're gonna
doing
have some.
there.
We're gonna have some new. We're gonna have some new YouTube pages all of a sudden.
Right. Like, huh?
There
Yeah.
you go. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's all good.
Very clever.
Very clever. But think about this. Um,
That's cool.
it is. It's funny. Uh, Factory farming versus small farmers getting squeezed out.
Yeah.
Because the
Mhm.
factory farming and the big farming being subsidized and being rewarded, and they're using the cheap labor. Small guy farmer, who's just trying to, uh, you know, work out a living. He's getting pushed. He can't afford to compete. And so that makes it even harder.
Right.
And
Economies of scale, right? I mean, you got these
economies
big
of scale.
corporations
You know, a-
and
Yeah, Joel Salatin talks about that all the time. The innovation can't happen in these big places because they're so set in routine. They're so set in the machine of things. He brought up that's why like SpaceX can do so much more than Boeing, because Boeing has got decades of institutionalism, decades of doing things a certain way, and it's hard for them to change and adapt. Well, it's no different for farming on the commercial scale, adapting to regenerative ways or adapting to new ways because they're so built in that system. And so that's, again, those are people paying the cost.
we fear change.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now I'm going to blow through this one because, I mean, it is important, but it's talking about environmental cost. I will agree that industrial farming depletes soil. I will that agree it can pollute water. I'm leaving off that other one because, no, I don't think so. But anyway,
Well, I do want to, pause right there on that environmental one just a second to make a point. And that point is that wherever they're growing vegetables, we don't know what's across the street at the other farm, right? And a lot of times, or at least in some of the major ones, romaine lettuce being one of them, out of California, right across the street, they have got a I think it's a finishing spot for cattle.
right.
And there's just different things that's gotten into the soil and eventually gotten down into the water
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. So in other industrial processes, in contaminating the water and that sort of thing. Now, I'm not big on, climate change and that sort of thing.
Climate changes 4 times a year, and if you live in Oklahoma and Arkansas, it changes 4 times a day. So, I mean,
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
with you on that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there is some environmental issues.
Right.
There are these forever chemicals that they're talking about being in the soils.
Right, man.
That's completely, and that are in all of us. I think they said something like 80% of us
Yeah.
that some of those forever chemicals have been detected in some people at high levels, and they'll never go away, right?
And that's the whole thing. And there was a story here.
There's Clyde.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
Dakota.
Yeah.
That's
We need a
yes.
winner. So, yeah. So now we got, hey, Smiley and Clyde, glad to have you in with us. Let's have a cup of coffee. And Smiley Matthews, glad to have y'all both in. And
Yeah.
in the
right.
drawing. There you go. Anyway.
Jack called him up behind the scenes.
Hey,
He
man,
did. Said,
get in this
"Hey
thing.
guys, get on this thing."
You know, but
That's good.
that story, it was out of
God bless Jack Dyer.
right. It was down in Texas that these farms, forever chemicals, and it wasn't that they were using it. Their neighbor had used it, and he was not doing it well. He was very poor in land management, and was this, and it bled and it ruined their soil, their ponds, everything in their properties. And yeah, it's a big deal going on.
Right.
Oops. You know what? Yeah, Glory Hills, you might be right. I did not put big box store. But I think we left store out. Did we ever say store in that? Was it think outside the big box store? No, we just left it. I can't remember now. Jack?
No, I think it was
Yeah.
outside to verify that. I
Yeah.
think
Oh, I don't know. But you're right. Yes.
we'll take it either way.
We'll take it either way. We're not paid. Josh, your son chimed in earlier. Said our food is cheap because a couple of reasons. One, because most of it's not real food; it's preservatives and machine lubricants, i.e., seed oils. And two,
Yep.
this big farm food is subsidized with our tax dollars, right over the target there, Josh, as usual, right over the target.
Yep. Dittos.
And
Yep.
so I admit I copied what Jack put in there. There you go. If Jack put it in, because he's co-owner of this thing, so with the hashtag, so that's the
Yeah.
way. But anyway, no, it really is. So cheap food is profitable for corporations, but the reality is it's unsustainable for people, and in all honesty, for the planet. And so I'll ask this question on the way out with this particular part of this. If we knew what went into making ultra cheap food, would we still buy it? And I got to admit, listen, we know, and we still buy. So,
Well, I got addicted really a long time ago. I grew up on some, cheap foods,
oh
It
yeah,
was always there. It was always easy. It was right in the refrigerator most of the time,
right.
We'll slap a sandwich together with processed meats all the time,
Oh,
And and yeah, I mean, I had heard all my life, yeah, it's like this and everything. If you know how the sausage is made, they say, But um, I think I didn't realize the full ramifications behind it
right,
at that age. Well, I know I didn't, and it's not until I kind of got involved with this group of people that,
right.
I began to understand that
Really
a
kind of
lot better. And in my research, like I said, I just did a little thought experiment by walking around a kitchen and seeing if I could find anything healthy. And I'm telling you, it was hard.
right. It is, and it is hard. And I'm going to pull Chris's comment up. See, I like how Joel Salatin says he's the best environmentalist by using restorative or regenerative and restorative farming. And
Hmm.
I would agree with that because I've seen I've seen the results of the pictures of Polyface when they moved there to what it looks like now. And if you just went before and after, you can't argue with results. You really, really can't because that place is insanely green, and and alive, and all of those things. And so, I mean, you can't argue with that. But that, man, if we could get everybody on board with that, we'd have a healthier planet
Oh,
and
we would. Right.
much better food. We'd all be healthier. And big pharma and big food and big ag would be out of business. And that's why they're going to stand in the way and throw every roadblock they can. So
Yeah.
let's get into the solution, man. We spent almost 40 minutes talking about,
Yeah. I guess we better get on with it.
I mean, it's kind of important because,
It
uh,
is.
how do we eat well without breaking the bank? I mean, that really is the question. How do we be healthy? How can we eat healthy and afford it? Especially with inflation, especially with economies where they're, and if somebody's on a fixed income or they're, they just, they're barely paying the bills. Food's almost, you know, they get what they can because, and yeah, out of business. That would be nice. I was talking about the big ag and big pharma. I'd love to put big pharma out of business. But uh, this is crazy. I'm gonna get into this because that's just so good.
Man,
Environmentalist.
you
Uh, but
Here's the rail. We officially went this way. Okay.
yeah,
oh,
we just right off the rails here. No, actually it's right in line, but
right,
it's
you but it's so rich and there's so much there. But I mean, it is. But they listen. They can make a study say anything they want, and that's just the truth. Um, but let's see what Glory Hill. They're over there now. There is something totally about eating meat that 100% how it was raised and what it was fed. There's no trauma or adrenaline in the meat. Definitely tastes better. 100%. When when
mhm.
when when that animal has had one bad day, you know,
Yeah.
you're going to have better. And there's a noticeable difference in what it looks like and what it tastes like. All of the above. So absolutely. So
So we
health
need some solutions, man.
we do. Well, listen, healthy eating isn't about spending more money. It's about spending smarter.
Right.
It's
But you notice he didn't say it's about spending less money
No,
either.
no, you didn't derail us, Chris. I promise you, you did not derail us. Not at all.
No, man.
But anyway, it's about spending smarter. Didn't say spending less or more, smarter. And there's simple ways, like we're saying, buy whole ingredients instead of the processed versions. Does it take a little extra step? Sure does. You know, shop for in season. Hey, Greg and Donna's in with us. Welcome in, Duncan Family Farm, and they've got in the drawing there. All right.
Right.
And they put store in. So okay. Either way.
We'll
Okay.
take it either way.
Anyway,
Now, Jack may complain about that.
right, because he
He
left.
wants it
It's
exactly
my
right.
fault.
Boom, boom, boom.
I'm the one that typed it in first with that store. So
Okay.
it's all on me, and so I'm making a executive decision that we'll
Okay.
accept it either way. But anyway, um,
So how can we save some money, bro?
well,
Or how
first
can we not
be
pay
smart.
the high?
Uh,
Yeah.
you know, buying whole ingredients. Okay. And I always buying real food, not buying
hmm
something in a box. Okay. A hamburger helper may help her make a great meal, but that doesn't mean
hmm
it's healthy for you. Okay. And so, instead of getting the processed stuff, get the real deal. Like I said, buying it smarter. Buying in bulk is a big thing. That is really one of the biggest things. If it's something
hmm
you're going to use over and over again, buy in bulk. Shop in season produce. It's cheaper and it's fresher. Now, I will say, of course, and then frozen. You know, uh, because as opposed to a can. Can may have a longer shelf life, but there's a reason the can has a longer shelf life, and it's what's
hmm
in there and the preservatives. But so there's that, and also invest in filling nutrient dense food, lentils, eggs, potatoes, and beans. Now I realize for the diabetics, potatoes and beans are pretty well and out the door. People who are trying to reduce down those natural sugars as well,
hmm
uh,
Right.
and uh, but anyway, so that's kind of just some of those simple little things. And where you shop, you can walk away from the world's largest retailer. We talked last week, about Aldi's, and we've talked about farm hubs and farmers market direct stores and those types of places where you can go shop for healthier food that is grown ethically, that's grown the right way. You're supporting, um, you know, you're supporting yourself. I know there's been a whole lot of stuff there. Uh, um, and this goes right in line with it. Have a victory garden. The term victory garden from World War II, Great Depression time frame. That is correct.
hmm
Having a garden, growing the things you need. Um, and of course, he follows on with reason a small garden is will help offset your grocery cost. Absolutely, it
Yeah.
will. And that is definitely one of the ways to do it. Uh, but
Right. And you don't, here's the thing. You can have a hybrid plan, right? It
right,
doesn't have to be all gardening or all store-bought foods or farm-bought, but you've got choices. Buy what you can from a local farmer if you just simply don't have the time to grow your own or
right,
raise your own, or have a mixture of all of that. That's kind of what I do, or that's what we're doing. We kind of have a mixture of all of that stuff going on,
absolutely.
right? And I just want to go back up and mention to Josh, and I want you to put something, if you're still with us, to put something over in chat real quick, and that's the price that we paid for a steak this last week.
Yeah,
And if you can do that, he was saying, how much do you save in medical costs when you eat healthy? And yeah, we had kind of covered that, a little bit earlier about, saving it in healthy,
right. Well,
that's the real price that we pay for eating cheap food, right?
right.
So-called cheap food.
And, you know,
But
and, and that's it. And when you go out and you start making a plan, and that's the first step, make a plan. We talk about our self sustainability or our self reliance scale, and moving further
mhm,
to the right on that scale. Well, it's beginning to implement. The old adage, Rome wasn't built in a day. Well, you don't make this transition in a day either. It's baby steps. Even if it's beginning one time a week or one. Anyway, Josh put that up. There you go. That's back to your answer. Um, but anyway, you know, we make those baby steps. We choose to do things a little different each time. I'm now walking when I do go to the grocery store, which, I do now walk through and I take a time to look, um, you know, at the actual real food or, not in a box, not in a fast food, but, actual like chicken or steak or pork and that type of thing. And realizing that, yeah, I can do this better if, if I'll start cooking. I can buy more. I can, especially for just two people in the house, I can take that a lot further, you know. Um, but, you know, meal planning, that's a big one. You know, if you start figuring out things, and like I said, I do clean cooking because of the fact that it is portion controlled. It's meal prep. It's ready to go. It's healthy food. It's good for me, and I can spend less. I talked about $50 a week on breakfast. I'll spend on average of about $92 a week on those meal preps, and that takes care of my lunch and sometimes my dinner, as well as for my wife, usually her dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So, I
Right.
mean, we're doing a lot of meals for a lot less money, and it's healthy food and it's prepped. And that's where a lot of that goes into ways is if you have a plan and you're reducing waste, it's okay to have leftovers. And I'm not a
Mm-hmm.
leftover guy. I'll be the first to tell you.
I am.
Yeah, I'm not. And don't know why. Just, I guess, too many years in the military where leftovers weren't an option. But I just don't eat leftovers. And honestly, I don't usually like to eat the same thing twice in a day. That's, got to break up the palate. But that's my own things. But, one of the things it talked about was batch cooking, making it like a pot of stew or making
Right.
stuff and then eating on it through the week. That's another way to save some money. I've told you this before. I've said this one before. This one's one I know for a fact. Never shop when you're hungry. You'll buy
Oh,
more
for
junk.
sure.
You'll buy more junk that way, because everything looks good. Get a grocery list. Actually write down, even to make a note in your phone or whatever. Um, um, the making out that list, even if it's on your phone in the notes or whatever, but actually making a list and uh, anyway, he's doing his thing. Y'all got that private chat keeps talking. Anyway, Glory Hills, if it's too expensive for a ribeye at that 13, get a round roast, rib roast, sirloin, chuck roast, tri-tip. They all make 5 to 6 steaks and cost $5 to $6 a pound. See, there's a good hack for people that you can still have your red meat. You can still have your, now listen, to me, ribeye is king. All right, ribeye is king. All right, but but at the same time, if you're trying to be eating certain things and be on a budget and not spend money, little hacks like this, those are good hacks. Because you can make those really good. Good meals. Now here's another tip in there. Tracy and Tim said we make dinner a larger amount and freeze extra for later. Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
And that's I'll share a little personally. That's one of mine and my wife's biggest challenges is learning how to cook portion size. Well, most things don't come that way, or you make it, and we of course we don't cook that much right now, but we used to. It was always a struggle because, and then we want to eat it all because man, it tastes so good, and we don't portion control. I think if doing like that where you freeze it or you set it aside and then have it as another meal later is a good way to stretch that dollar and be able to thing. And so if we can do some of that, I'm gonna tell you something else. And this was one that I think this goes back to the old days, and that is using what's left meals. In other words, you've got leftover ingredients, you've got leftover things that you didn't use, from making a meal. Take all that stuff and put it into a meal. Uh, uh, and let's see, where was that? Oh, Jack Share, ribeye is king. Yeah, I like this. This is a good one from Josh. If you take the time to tenderize cheaper cuts, you can save a lot. Buy in bulk and invest in Tupperware.
There you go.
There you go.
Tupperware's cheaper, you know.
At the end of the
So, but listen, before you go on, bro, I do want to circle back just a little bit because I'd asked people to put up the price of steak, right?
right,
And we got a few people who
right.
typed some of that in. And what I also want to ask next, has anybody out there bought things like quarter beefs, half beefs, things like that? And do you happen to know how much on average you save per pound doing that?
Yeah.
And so if you do, please put that over in chat because this is an illustration, a live illustration of how much you can save by buying in bulk. And when I say bulk, is like bulk um, um, bulk meat, like a quarter cow, you know.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good thing to see what everybody has, especially because I know we have some people in there that's probably done this. David and Holly put up, leftover Fridays. Yeah, that's the thing.
Okay.
It's a good option. Some people I know do that on like Wednesdays if they're going to church or something like that. They have that stuff that way they don't have to really work at it. Now, Jack, I like they put this out. Found having our groceries delivered saves money because we stay on the shopping list. Um, I think
Okay.
I remember that when me and Cindy used to do that. And yeah, it did save us a lot. We didn't have the impulse purchases and that type of thing if we would
Mhm.
pre-order our food. So yeah, you got your first answer on that, Tracy and Tim. I'll get to that in a minute. But we buy half beef. Not sure says we bought it before cattle prices affected the market. Paid 1,200. So
Was it 1,200 for a whole? Oh, you bought a half for 1,200. Okay. Uh, do you roughly know how many pounds? And can somebody out there who is a whiz at math, do the math and tell us about what that breaks down per pound cost?
right. Um, anyway, Tracy and Tim come back with grew up with that. My dad would make pot pies out of leftovers or stews or soups.
Mhm.
Absolutely, it's a good way to do it. And Chris chimed in. Chris Reeves with another savings to mix hamburger with sausage. Listen, I do that with my chili. I'll take whether I'm having ground venison or I've got ground beef, and I put it in with sausage. That's how I do my chili, and man, it makes a big difference. And it's you're adding in a lot of stuff. Now Jack's giving you an answer on that as well. So we sold our half or quarter beef usually by ground beef price, strictly grass fed Longhorn, and never have a problem selling it. So there you
Right. Well, I was just wondering if you save any money over grocery shelves, right?
prices, right?
The cost per pound like that. Yeah, if you guys could kind of answer that, I thought I could do a compare and contrast there. And I know a lot of people who, they do that. They buy it by the quarter or by the half,
Right,
and they stock their freezers for long term.
right. Well, I'll put this question out there. No, don't have to answer it unless you want to, but it's just food for thought.
Mhm.
Uh, One food that you always buy but end up throwing away. Um, did you see that there? Uh,
Yeah, I see that.
okay. Work part time at a meat processor. Sent Keith via text the price sheet. Okay. All right. There you go. So there you go. Thanks, David. Appreciate that. Um,
Yeah, thanks, David.
refrigerator stew. Yeah. I guess that's another one of them mixed up things where you just throw everything together. um, listen, I've always said, one of my favorite meals growing up, still one of my favorite meals, but I'll never have it the same way because Mama's not with us anymore. But man, her pinto beans with cornbread and fried taters, that was cat's meow right there. I thought that was I still think it's a great meal, but I mean, that was, and I didn't realize that it was, like I said, growing up, that was just a way to feed a bunch of us with, without, uh, having to spend a boat ton of money. They could feed a lot of people in a short amount of way. So, I mean, we look back to the ways that our parents, our grandparents, and whatnot did things, and how they made money stretch, and how they made food feed a whole house for not a lot of money, and that was it. You seeing that you got that at 350 to 375 for a half cow. So you divide that into 1,200. So you're probably looking at somewhere around $3.50, $4 a pound, I would guess there.
Well, I've got what David sent me right in front of me.
Right. Okay.
And I can tell you that, and if I understand, if I don't understand what I'm reading here, but I think I do, let me know, David.
Right.
But basically, a 1/16 is on average $7.30 a pound.
Yeah. Now,
Okay. So
Josh,
breaking it down like that. But then again, that's the entire the entire
I was gonna say, Josh
beef
brought that up,
mix.
and I think you're right. We did do a show, Josh, about the savings of a half versus whole cow, and we added up to around $6 a pound, but that's including all the nice cuts.
Hey, that's been a minute too.
Has and Jack follows on. He says, "I don't know how to compare it to but ground beef price for the entire half
Right.
saves quite a bit." I can see that.
Right.
And hello, Jeremiah 1111. Welcome in. I'm glad to see you with us. Boy, they're tearing it up over there at the Dyer family farm tonight. There, both of them. My mom never worked, and I can't remember her stretching. I can remember her a whole chicken a couple of days and feeding 5 people per meal. I'm gonna tell you something. Those folks in that generation, mine and Keith's grandmothers,
Respect.
mad respect, because I'm telling you what, I would walk into my granny's house and I would go searching for food. Because, even though I was a little guy, I was a hungry guy. I'd go searching for food and I would swear there was nothing in that house. And I'd come back in and she'd be like, "You hungry?" "Well, I could eat, yeah." "Okay, I'll be right back." 30 minutes later, the table is full of food. And I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know
like,
where
where'd
it
that
came
come
from.
from?
What kind of voodoo magic was this woman working? Because I had just went through that same kitchen and couldn't find nothing.
Right. Speaking of that, bro, which is really interesting. I didn't know it. And there's an app that's out there that you can do. It's like if you got ingredients inside of your pantry or in your refrigerator, you can put those ingredients in this app and it can give you what you can make with the ingredients that you have on hand.
Right. Ain't that something? And we got an app for
Yeah.
that, right? There's an app for that.
Yeah, there's an app for that. Yeah.
Our grannies and our mamas and stuff, they had an app. It was called a cookbook and a recipe book. And they had the Rolodex with the recipe cards and all that stuff. And that's
I
how
think Granny's was right up here.
I
I'll
do,
be
man.
honest with you.
That was like insane. I mean, Grandma Hooper
Always wore a dress.
always.
Always wore a dress. And she's always humming and singing gospel songs while she's cooking.
Yep, sure enough.
That's my granny. Yeah.
There you go. And
That's a good granny right there.
it was. And but now listen, the flip side, Grandma Hooper living next door to us, growing up, my dad's mom, it was going to be poke salad and scrambled eggs, or it was some fried bologna, or some commodity cheese, which is still the great. It's the I stand firmly on the one statement that the only thing the USDA and the government has ever done right was commodity cheese. That's it. But yeah, we grew up that way, and we see that, and then now we go in there, and I can walk in there and go, I hear people, "There ain't nothing to eat in here." "Oh, there's plenty to eat in there. You just don't want to make it." And yes,
And Dina said, and always wore an apron,
always worn apron.
and absolutely. Yeah, absolutely right. That was a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, Scotty, grandma's always pulled food out of the woodwork. Yes, they did. Now I'm going to get into this. Jeremiah's got some good comments here. He said, "Grew up on an off-grid farm, always had lots of food, never cared about government BS." And his grandfather was a wise man. Always said the government organizations are the devil. So
Hey, you ain't joking about that, and we could really get off into that conversation.
that'd be a whole other show.
But we better move on. And Josh put up a good one right there. And if you're hungry in Oklahoma, this is true. Poke salad is free, y'all.
Poke salad is free in eastern Oklahoma. You got to find it because it grows wild. You can't plant this stuff. But yes, poke salad and scrambled eggs. But the time I was about 6, I couldn't stand it anymore. I'd had so much of it. But yes, thank you, Robbie. Everybody hit that thumbs up. Appreciate that. Rachel chimed in, and we're going down memory lane now. So I remember
Yeah, we are.
soaps with Brandy.
Yeah.
There you go. That was probably her one vice was them soaps. But who got her started on that was actually Pappy. He liked his Edge of Night, and he liked his soap. I don't know. That old man was something.
He liked wrestling, and he swore up and down it was real.
Oh, I know. Anyway, Jack's like, I like poke salad and lamb's quarter. Ooh,
Man, that sounds good.
that does sound good. Anyway, Let's see. Well, we got some stuff going on. I'm just playing with you. Josh, I think me and Jeremiah will get along great. Yes, I think so. Uh, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Really jumping off.
Oh boy.
Serpent.
Yeah. We're
Yep.
blowing up, and it's like less than a minute before the show's over.
No kidding. It's off the rails.
Yeah,
Here, let's bring this
right.
on. Every grass is edible.
Right.
You ain't man.
That's
Don't,
interesting.
don't eat
I
the
did not know that, by the way. Every grass is edible.
not all is palatable, David.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, but
Yeah.
Tina, grandmas. That's right. Lots of love for grandma.
Yeah.
Yep.
You bet. You
But
bet.
anyway,
So,
we've had a lot of fun going over that, but we really do need to move on. One thing, and I'll blow through this real quick, is just rethink convenience. Fast food is marketed as time saving, but it really is because, poor nutrition, we're sluggish, we're less productive, we get sick, which means more doctor visits and less time for what you really love to do. And you can switch that up to quick easy meals and things that are healthy that you can have pre-prepped and takes just a short amount of time to throw together. So really we're just we bought the marketing, and I'm guilty. I'm guilty, but ultimately eating well doesn't have to be hard. It just has to be intentional. And
right.
so here's what y'all can take away. This is some action you can take and leave. Foraging is a great option. Yeah, if you know what you're foraging for, there's some deadly stuff out there. Flip over one food package today or tomorrow when you go shopping. Read the label.
Mhm.
Can you pronounce the ingredients? Try one food swap, junk food for whole food. Experiment with a budget meal. Cook at home instead of eating out and see how much you save. Um, and here's the other thing: share your story. That's the whole thing. Share what your experiences have been. Uh, so the cost of cheap food is higher than we think, but the good news is we do have a choice. We get to choose. So I'm going to hit a couple of things. I agree. Clyde said never was tough enough to eat poke salad.
I've
Yeah.
done it. Done well. It's good for me.
But anyway, so and he said lamb's quarter is a wild spinach. Dang, I was thinking lamb's meat. No, I was thinking like lamb quarter. I was thinking about some roasted lamb or some smoked lamb. Yeah, I like lamb, so I mean, for me. But anyway, I like that. So anyway, folks, we've kind of went through everything. We kind of got through it and kind of got off in the chat and enjoying everybody's input and comments because guys, y'all are making our job so easy here when y'all
Yeah,
bring
enjoying it too.
uh, and Joy's throwing this in. Meals are easier with the Instapot and crock pots. I agree.
Thank you, Joy.
Yes. And Jack says, give it away, give it away, give it away
Give
now.
away now.
Give it away, give
Keep
it
on
away,
going.
give it away
Uh,
now.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So I just want to also give before we do the drawing, I just want to give everybody a challenge. Go through your kitchen and turn the labels around. You don't have to go to the grocery store to do that. Turn the labels around in your kitchen and read the ingredients. If you've been educated in those ingredients, and just see how much food you could actually choose. Now, there was a statement made by a doctor that I listened to recently that said that don't let um, those ingredients on there outweigh the good that the food does. In other words, use common sense. If that's what's there, that doesn't mean you can't have a little something at a birthday party or something like that. You guys know that. But just go around, educate yourself with the ingredients, read those labels, and you let us know how that works out later. All right.
Yes, they did. I think they
Yeah.
go to. Anyway,
Yeah, I think so.
Scotty's got some good stuff. If I can't say it, I don't buy it. He said, plus with his health issues, he needs to watch everything carefully to the T.
Right, Scotty.
And I think we
Right.
all be that way. We need to shop those labels and shop for our groceries like our life depends on it, because it does.
It does. Right. Chronic disease can be mitigated. Right. So anyway, let's get to a drawing.
Let's get to it.
All right.
Get to it.
Let me ask Mr. P.
Mm.
Did you get all the names in?
He's silent.
Yeah, either I'm deaf
I
or
think
he's silent.
not
Not working? I think,
Can you hear
did
me
you
now?
say yeah? Yeah, I
Can
can
you hear
hear
me
you now.
now? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to ignore the power, that little deal I had earlier. Just ignore that part.
we have them all
Well,
in.
yes, we have them all in for what I've seen. So
Okay.
I do not have Keith's rollers. So
Yeah, the rope
ain't nothing gonna be a good red solo cup. So
solo cup.
There ain't nothing a red solo cup can't
Let's
fix.
have a party.
so let me
Let's
do
have a
a
party.
little shake
Who's
up
going
here.
to
So
Okie Expo? Who's going to Okie Expo?
Who will
Who-
win 2025
let's see.
tickets? 2 tickets to the Okie Homestead Expo.
I got one. I got one.
Stay tuned to find out.
Uh,
All right, who's it going to be?
Daily Bible and coffee with Jack.
Imagine that.
Imagine
Oh,
that.
Well,
looks and
listen, I think I seen him said they were trying to win it for Clyde and Stacy. So,
right, right.
Jack, if that's actually the real deal, you've got my phone number. I think you've got Keith's. Reach out to us, and we'll get that set up. So
Right.
you know how to contact us, Jack.
Yeah.
It'll be an email, guys, that I send over to you.
And
By the way, our lucky ticket winners has to come on to the set with us there at Okie Homestead Expo, which we will be looking you up, and I assume, and you can let me know if I'm right or wrong, that's going to be Clyde and Smiley. And so you guys will be going live with us to be the ticket winners. Okay,
right.
just a little heads up there.
we have
Congratulations.
yeah, congratulations.
Yes, guys.
I know who's going, Clyde and Stacy. There we go. Awesome. That's friends right there. Okay, that's friends. And that's what this community is all about right there. That's awesome. Listen, uh, sorry, I just about lost it with that comment. I'll put it up, but
I'm not.
but I say anyway. Um,
I think we saw the same comment.
but I'm just but anyway, now me and Keith were just talking the other day, Clyde. Um, we said we must have a cup of coffee with Let's Have a Cup of Coffee. So
Hey, it should be mandatory.
right,
You
so
know,
so
how can you not have a cup of coffee with somebody with a channel name? Let's have a cup of coffee.
so while this next week, let's have a cup of coffee. That's what I got to say. So congratulations to Jack Dyer and Daily Bible and Coffee with Jack for
Yeah.
those tickets. What he chooses to do with them is seems to be decided, but
Right.
anyway.
Right.
So, but no,
Thank
seriously.
you, guys.
Thanks everybody for participating. It's awesome. It's like I said, it makes our job easy, makes the show fun, more fun than it is anyway.
Yeah.
But just y'all guys keep us cracking up sometimes, and
Mhm.
and that's okay. It's a good time. It allows us to talk about serious stuff, but still have a little bit of levity, a little bit
Keeping
of
it light. Yeah.
right, keep a little lightness to it. But so it is 8:08, and I know there's other things going on in the world. Yeah. Some of us got to go to sleep, but no, anyway, tuxedo required is what Duncan family said.
Not even.
Hey, just get the shirt that's got the tuxedo on the front, business in
Yeah.
the party.
Perfect.
You but yeah, no, it's look forward to that. That's going to be Okie Expo is going to be a great time. I'm already so excited for it. I mean, I can't believe it's like next week, but uh, ready but not ready, as we said. But no, it is coming up. Looking forward to seeing everybody there, and it is weather seems like it's going to be okay. Definitely doesn't seem like it's going to be as cold. Can the tux be sleeveless? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course.
Right here.
Because how can somebody named Clyde,
Wife beater.
how can somebody named Clyde wear sleeves? I mean, that's all I want. I mean,
Yeah. All right.
it just doesn't seem normal. Doesn't seem right. But anyway, what do I got going on here? That was something else. Let me pull this up because I want this live right now. Let me go over here. Pryor Creek, Oklahoma. Next Thursday. It's the day, that's setup day. Actually, some of y'all are going to be there sooner. but it's going to be windy. I know that much. And the low on Thursday is 39. The high is 57. So we're getting the March winds, and we could get the March temperatures that come with that. So dress prepared. That's all I want to say. Prepare when you pack your clothes. So that was
Prepare for the unexpected.
that was straight up on the. Let me see. Yeah,
I don't trust that. I do trust Jack and the Redneck Weather Report.
that is next Wednesday and Thursday right there. That's 39 and 57 in Pryor Creek, Oklahoma. So that's where it is right there. So anyway, yeah, but I do trust. That's right. I do trust Jack
The
and his
Redneck
weather
Weather Report.
every morning. Robbie says going to be 60s for Friday and Saturday. That's the highs, of course.
I can live with that.
Bring a jacket. I'm going to tell you what, compared to last year,
That's warm.
to tell you, I'll share a little story with everybody. Keith already kind of knows this, Dakota and him, but where our set was at and where
Oh.
there was wind that was funneling through from the vendor barn, and it was coming right across. And my jacket and stuff, I'm sitting in our little chairs, and the wind is blowing right up my back the whole time we're doing interviews. So I'm over there just like dying, but I can't do nothing about it.
I just grin and bear it because you're live.
You're live, and you're doing a record. You're in an interview, and then she's got to
Yeah.
grin and bear it.
Right.
But anyway,
Yeah, trust me, I know. I was there on set the entire day, so
yes,
both days.
Yeah.
it was. But anyway, we're going to get too far off into that.
Yeah.
Let me see. Said Robbie said he'll be helping Wednesday and Thursday, so we'll be seeing you on Thursday morning.
Yep.
Anyway, but yeah, so great. We got the giveaway done. That's awesome. So thank you. Thanks everybody for participating in that. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., the Farm to Table Direct Show morning edition. I will be live. It will not be Memorex Ryan. I will be live tomorrow with. You're gonna love it. Let me find it. Got all these sheets over here. Under attack. Who's the target and why? So
Under attack. Who's the target and
And
why?
yes. So
Mystery must be solved.
that's it. Well, we all know we're just going to talk about it, but I got some things to bring up that have come into my inbox, if you will, over the last few days, and I was going to do that today, but life is hard, kind of took over, so that's what happened. But anyway, good show this morning. I appreciate all my morning crew. A lot of them are here tonight, so appreciate that. Listen. We're going to get it up on out of here. We're going to be seeing so many of you next week. We're looking forward to it. We will not be doing a show next Tuesday night because just quite frankly, all the prep for Okie Expo. Yeah, we're going to miss you guys on Tuesday, but don't worry. I'll still be doing my morning show. So, things will still be happening there, but we have so much to get ready for Okie as well as other things we got going on that we've decided to defer a show next week. We did the same thing last year. And it just works out better for us. But anyway, yay, live Ryan tomorrow morning. There we go. Yes. But anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in. We're going to let you get out of here. We have, man, y'all guys make it so easy. Make us want to stay all night. But anyway, let's see, where was I going? Oh, yeah, that's it. Okie Homestead Expo coming up. And I'll just go ahead and throw this one since he's here. April 12th, New Beginnings Homestead Expo in Nevada, Oklahoma. Keith and I are going to be. Chris Reeves is hosting that. He was in the chat tonight. Keith and I are going to be speaking along with Dwayne Hall and several others. So put that one on the calendar for April 12th. It's a Saturday. And we'll be there. But anyway, everybody, I want you all to have a great night. Be a blessing to people. Have a great rest of your week. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy the spring warm up. And, hey, I don't know. Anything else from y'all too before we get it on out of here? Oh, yes. Come on, bring it in. Hashtag stronger together.
Stronger together. And hashtag
think outside the
box store.
Shop
keep it local.
Shop
local. Yeah.
Shop local. Keep it local. That's right.
Right.
And that's the solution. I will promise you, keep it local is honestly the solution for everything. But anyway, folks, we're going to get on out of here. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We will be seeing many of you soon. See the rest of y'all 6 a.m. tomorrow morning on the morning edition of the Farm to Table Direct Show, morning edition. So, as we say every time we close out one of these shows, and everybody who's been here knows, prepare for the unexpected and
keep it local.
that's right.
No
Hank,
humans
take us on
were
outta here,
harmed
man.
in the production of this podcast.